Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So this is part two. For those of you who haven't seen part one, I'll post the link in the cards. Basically, I'm responding to this sports announcer by the name of Marcellus Wiley. He made some disrespectful comments about the brother Colin Kaepernick. And instead of me just recapping everything, I encourage you to watch the first part to this video. One of the points that he made about Colin Kaepernick is basically that Colin Kaepernick didn't monetize, didn't materialize his objectives in terms of this whole protest against police brutality. Basically, he said that he left it at kneeling. That was his main point. That was the thing that he was basically implying by his comments. And I just want to respond to that. And I also want to respond to another thing that he said about Colin Kaepernick being of mixed background and being raised in a white household. First of all, I reject the notion that people should monetize the suffering of black people. To me, that's the same thing as being a poverty pimp. People that are getting rich off of the suffering of black people. I think that's despicable. And this idea that somehow people should monetize and capitalize on the suffering of our people, I think that that's absurd. And basically, that's what Jay-Z did. He basically financially benefited from a struggle or from a movement that Colin Kaepernick helped launch. And not only did he financially profit from that after, reaching this deal that wouldn't have even taken place if it wasn't for this Colin Kaepernick issue, he's going to throw Colin Kaepernick under the bus. We know that the NFL wouldn't be giving a damn or even mentioning any kind of social justice initiative if it wasn't for Colin Kaepernick. But after Colin Kaepernick initiated this whole thing, through his protests, Jay-Z basically threw him under the bus. Like, none of this stuff would have been possible without Colin Kaepernick using his celebrity to make a statement against police brutality. So the mere fact that you have the NFL supposedly launching some kind of program for social justice, that is, in fact, a result of what Colin Kaepernick did. That is a materialization of some of the things that he talked about, if, in fact, the NFL actually follows through with this stuff and actually makes this a real effort to end police brutality and address social justice issues in our community. So that's one thing. And then also, Colin Kaepernick has done other things with respect to this issue of police brutality. He's launched camps for young people, advising them of their rights. The brother has also funded many social justice efforts. So this brother is, in fact, materializing the objectives of his protest against police brutality. His voice alone has mobilized and organized people around this issue. So I think that this point about him not materializing things is silly. Of course, there's more that could be done, more work that should be done in terms of, more protests that need to be launched and all kinds of different things that can be done to affect change, actually promoting politicians that support an end to police brutality and, an end to racial profiling of African Americans. All of those things are key. And there's always more work to be done. But let's not downplay the significance of the brother Colin Kaepernick. People wouldn't even be talking about this issue if it wasn't for Kaepernick and if it wasn't for, the Black Lives Matter movement and other longtime activists pushing for an end to police brutality. The next point that I want to address is this whole thing about him being of mixed race and from, being raised by a white family and not being in touch with black people or understanding the plight of African Americans. First of all, a black man in a predominantly white environment is going to have experiences of racism necessarily. That's what's going to happen. Somebody that's in an environment where they're surrounded by white people, they are going to feel that sense of otherness. They are going to feel some degree of alienation. they're going to feel some sense of a lack of acceptance by some people within that all white world. This is commonly talked about. You know, many black people that are raised in predominantly white environments, or even biracial individuals, they feel that sense of alienation in those all white environments. And even though they are lighter skinned or biracial, they still experience racism in this society because this society doesn't make the same distinctions that we make amongst each other. A biracial man in this society is viewed as black by this society. They are treated as black by this society. All we have to do is look at the example of President Barack Obama. Here you have an educated man. Here you have an accomplished man, a man who was a U.S. senator, a man who wrote best-selling books and things of that nature, a man who graduated from the best law school in the country, was president of Law Review, and all these credentials. He had all these credentials. But in the minds of white, racist America, he was nothing but a nigger to them. They depicted this brother as a monkey. They depicted his family as a family of chimpanzees. That's what they thought about him. They depicted him as a witch doctor during those protests that the Tea Party led, which was nothing but the precursor to this alt-right movement. They depicted him as a terrorist. They questioned his legitimacy because he was a black man. They questioned whether or not he was a U.S. citizen. This brother suffered through all kinds of indignities, despite being biracial, despite being raised by a white family. So I think that that is nonsense. It is nothing but an excuse to not support the movement against police brutality. That's all it is. And that's all that this Uncle Ruckus, sportscast is basically trying to do, undermine the struggle against police brutality. Again, if he had any sense, he would stand behind a brother that's standing up for us. He would support the brother Colin Kaepernick. Here, we look foolish standing up and, doing a pledge of allegiance, talking about land of the free and home of the brave, when we are still treated like second-class citizens in this country. But anyway, I just had to add those 2 additional points to my prior commentary. Please rate, comment, subscribe. I'll post a link to part 1 in the description box and in the card so that you all can watch that first before you see this. I just had to make these 2 additional points. So tell me what you think. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Peace.